Okay, students, so good morning to all. Now, uh, in the last class, we discussed about the static characteristics, right? So, today we'll talk about dynamic characteristics. Instruments rarely respond to the instantaneous changes in the measured variables. Their response is slow or sluggish due to mass, thermal capacitance, inductance, etc. Sometimes even the instrument has to wait for some time till the response occurs. So dynamic characteristics are those which changes with the time. Okay, the response of the instrument which changes with the time. So the behavior of such a system, whereas the input varies from instant to instant, the output also varies from instant to instant, is called as dynamic response of the system. So hence the dynamic behavior of the system is equally important as the static behavior. So that also we need to understand. So here we can see that there is a unit of measured quantity and unit of time. So with respect to time, we will check here. So we are getting the input curve here, we are getting the output curve here, right? So there is the difference between the measurement lag. Now this is due to the dead time. Dead time means during that time there will be no output. Okay, generally the output follows the input. So this is suppose your input curve. So output has to follow the input path. But this is the time lag. This is the time lag. So during that time, it is the system is not responding, and then it starts responding. So, but the system is lagging. Okay. So this is one of the factor which occurs in the which is one of the factor or as the dynamic characteristic comes under the dynamic characteristic, due to which it makes the system sluggish and slow, and the response time will be very slow in that case. So it makes the system slow and sluggish. Okay, so this is one of the factor which occurs in the dynamic characteristic, that is measurement lag. Now the dynamic inputs are of two types: transient and steady state periodic. Transient response is defined as that part of the response which goes to zero as the time becomes large. So transient responses, that is the system for a certain time there are the oscillations in the system. Okay, so or instability in the system for certain time limit. So that is the transient response. Now the steady state response is the response that has a definite periodic cycle. Okay, that means it has the stable response, or there is stability in the system. That means oscillations has been damped out which were occurring in the system. Now the variation in the input that are used practically to achieve dynamic behavior are step input, ramp input, parabolic input and sinusoidal input. So what is step input? The input is subjected to a finite and instantaneous change. Example, closing of switch. Ramp input, the input linearly changes with respect to time. The input which linearly changes with respect to time. Next is parabolic input. The input varies to the square of time, which represent constant acceleration. Then is sinusoidal input. The input changes in accordance with a sinusoidal function of a constant amplitude. Next is dynamic response. The behavior of the system when input vary with time, and so does the output, is called dynamic response. Speed of response. It is the fastness with which an instrument responds to and changes in the input. Measurement lag. It is the retardation or delay in the response of measurement system to change in measured quantity. Okay, that means input is changing but we are not getting the output. So that is the delay, that we are getting the output with some delay. The lag are of two types, retardation lag and the time delay. So as soon as there is a change in the measured quantity, the measurement system begins to respond. And time delay is the response of the measurement system starts after a dead time. And once the input is applied, they cause dynamic error in the system. Next is dynamic error. It is the difference between the true value of the quantity that is to be measured changing with time and the measured value if no static error is assumed. So that is your dynamic error. And fidelity is what? It is defined as degree to which a measurement system indicates changes in the measured quantity without any dynamic errors. And what is overshoot? It is defined as the maximum amount by which the pointer moves beyond the steady state. So these are the dynamic characteristics which we keep in mind, as generally we have the numerical problems on the static characteristics. Okay, we'll discuss the numerical problems on the static characteristic, but we need to know about the dynamic characteristics also, that what are the dynamic characteristic, what are the parameters which are responsible for the dynamic characteristics of the measuring instrument. Now, why is measurement needed? It is required for design of equipment and processes in any process industry or in manufacturing unit, or if you want to improve the efficiency of the system or the product, and to improve the quality of the product, and to establish certain standards, to evaluate the performance, and to maintain the proper operation in the plant, we have to take the measurement of electrical quantities there in any process or in any manufacturing unit. And we definitely have to work with some standards. Then only we can able to design or manufacture any tool or any component which are used in assembling of any equipment or any device. So for that purpose we need to follow certain standards. Requirement for measurement: the standard used for the comparison purpose must be accurately defined and commonly accepted, and the apparatus used for the method adopted must be provable. So these are two requirements for doing the measurements. Your apparatus should be and the method which you are adopting is provable, and secondly the standard used for comparison purpose must be accurately defined. Now, methods of measurement: there is direct method and indirect method. What is direct method? The unknown quantity is directly compared with the standard. Okay, direct method is what? The unknown quantity which is directly compared with some standard. This method is common for measurement of physical quantity, example vernier caliper, scale. So that will be directly used for the measurement of any quantity. Now indirect method, it is obtained by measuring other quantities. Example, resistance value can be determined by using Wheatstone bridge. So through Wheatstone bridge we are calculating the value of the resistance. So that is an indirect method. And direct method is we are directly measuring the value of resistance with the help of the your multimeter. Okay, so through that we are measuring the value of that resistance. That is the direct method. And indirect method is, it is done with the help of some Wheatstone bridge. For a potential, through the potentiometer we are calculating the value of unknown resistance. So in that way we can also do. Direct method, direct measurement method example is your scale, vernier caliper, which can be used directly for the measurement purpose. Indirect method is your Wheatstone bridge. Now measurement standards: international standards, primary standards, secondary and working standards. International standards, these are defined by international agreement and they represent certain units of measurement to closest possible accuracy. These standards are periodically evaluated and checked by absolute measurements in terms of fundamental units. These standards are maintained at International Bureau of Weights and Measures at France. So one thing is clear, that international standards are maintained at International Bureau of Weight and Measures at France, and they are periodically evaluated with the help of the absolute instruments, and these are defined by the international agreement, and they represent certain units of measurement which are possibly accurate. Next is your primary standards. So primary standards consider these standards are maintained at the national standard laboratories in different parts of the world. So these standards represent the fundamental unit and some of the derived electrical and mechanical units, whereas the international standards international standard work only on fundamental unit. So these standards, primary standards, work on the fundamental, they represent fundamental unit as well as some of the derived electrical mechanical unit. They are calibrated independently by absolute measurement at each of the national laboratories. Main function of primary standard is the verification and calibration of secondary standards. Okay, main function of primary standard is the verification and calibration of secondary standards. Standards of measurement. In the standards of measurement, we have the third one is secondary standards. So these are basic reference standards which are used in industrial measurement laboratories. So they are maintained by the particular involved industry and are checked locally against the reference standards in that area. And secondary standards available in the area are maintained as their calibration is checked by that particular industrial laboratory. These standards are periodically checked, calibrated and compared against primary standards. So इन standards को periodically check किया जाता है, calibrate किया जाता है, compare किया जाता है against the primary standards. So secondary standards are used in the industrial laboratories, whereas primary standards are used in the national laboratories, and they work on fundamental quantities as well as some of the derived quantities. Now these industries manufactures manufacturing any tool, so or any measuring instrument, so those instruments will keep on comparing with the those instruments will follow the primary standards, and it will be compared with that so that the calibration can be done accurately, and calibration process can be done properly. So error is reduced and accuracy can be maintained. So these standards are periodically checked, calibrated and compared against primary standards. So these standards are periodically checked at the industrial measurement laboratories. Now last is your working standards. So these are the principal tools of a measurement laboratory. They are used to check and calibrate general laboratory instruments for accuracy and performance, or to perform comparison measurement in industrial application. So that is also done. Okay. So they are done locally in the laboratory instruments. So whatever be the instruments are used in the laboratories, so they are manufactured and calibrated general purpose to perform comparison measurement in industrial applications. Now the three types of errors in the measurement are gross error, systematic error, random error, which we will going to discuss in the next class. So in the next class we will going to discuss the types of errors and the corrective measures to be taken to remove those errors, and then we will discuss the measuring instruments. various types of measuring instruments one by one. Fine. So this is all about today's class. We discussed about dynamic characteristics, different dynamic characteristics on which the performance of the measuring instrument depends, and then we talked about the measurement standards. There are 4 measurement standards: international, and your working standards, primary standards. So these all things we studied in today's class. So in the next class we will going to start with the errors in measurement. Okay, thank you.